Hi guys, we are on page 11 in our note packet and we are at 1.3.1, I can solve a multi-step equation. So for this learning target, we're not learning anything new. We are still using our inverse operations to solve equations, but because it's a multi-step, we might have to do a little bit more work than we did before. We're still doing inverses of addition and subtraction and multiplication and division. We can see parentheses and have to distribute. And so we just want to go through a couple steps of what to do. And then we are also going to be checking our work, which you can use anytime that you solve equations, even not at a multi-step level, even if it's a 1 or 2-step equation. So for our video notes, the first thing we want to do is we want to distribute to get rid of parentheses. If we don't have parentheses, then that's great. We can move on. But if we notice parentheses, we want to get rid of them first, so we want to distribute. Then we want to get all the variables together on one side, and we want all of the constants on the opposite side. So we want to get our like terms together. It doesn't matter what side you move them to. I tend to do what's ever easiest. You can have all your variables always on the left if you want, and then all the constants always on the right. But we want to make sure our like terms get together. And then the third thing is we are still going to use our inverse operations to get our variable alone, wherever it's at. So for this equation, we're just going to go through one example and then we're going to check our work underneath. I do notice that I have parentheses, so I want to start by getting rid of those. I'm still going to draw a line through my equal sign. So for this one, I'm distributing 2 to my 4x first. So 2 times 4x is 8x. Then I'm also going to distribute 2 times, this is a negative 3. 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. I'm not going to distribute the 2 to this minus 8 because it's on the outside of parentheses. So I can bring that down and not do anything with it yet. Then I bring down my equal sign. On the right side, I do not have parentheses, so I'm just going to rewrite it underneath, and then I can go from there and do my next step. So 4 plus 2x. From here, there's a couple different things that we could do. You could move your variables first, or you could combine like terms first. I'm going to combine like terms first, and then I'm going to move my variables. So I have negative 6 and negative 8. Together, they're next to each other. They are both on the left side of my equal sign, so I just want to combine them. So I'm going to start by bringing down my 8x because I'm not doing anything with that yet. And then I'm going to simplify negative 6 minus 8. So if you're not sure what that is or want to double check it because it is negatives, we can type it into our calculator. So negative 6 minus 8, and I get negative 14. So that means I'm going to write minus 14 right there. I have my equal sign, 4 plus 2x, because I haven't done anything with that yet. Now, this looks like something we've done before. We have variables on both sides, which is fine. We just want to get them together. And so I could move my constants first, or I could move my variables first. That is up to you. I'm going to start by moving my variables, and I'm going to move my 2x to this side because 2 is smaller than 8. You could do it the other way, but you would end up with a negative. So I'm going to subtract 2x, subtract 2x. These will cancel, so that disappears on the right-hand side. 8x minus 2x is 6x. I still have my minus 14 equals a positive 4. Now this is a 2-step equation. I want to get my variable alone, so I'm going to start by moving this minus 14 first before I move the 6 because this is furthest from the variable. I'm going to add 14 to both sides. So I'm left with a positive 6x equals, then I have positive 4 plus 14, which is a positive 18, And yes, I am running out of room, but I only have one step left. To get x by itself, I have to get rid of this 6. They are being multiplied, and the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by a positive 6. So I'm left with x equals, and then 18 divided by 6 is a positive 3. So I get x equals a positive 3. Everything we did here, we have done before. We know how to distribute, we can combine like terms, we know how to subtract things from both sides or add things from both sides or divide, because those are inverses of what we need. It's just there happens to be a little bit more that we have to do to get the variable by itself. So one thing that you can do is you can always check your work, which helps, especially on a test, because if I'm not sure if I did this right, there is a way that I can double check. So we're going to do the steps here as we do it on the left. So what we want to do is I'm first going to just rewrite the problem so that I can see it in the video. And I'm writing it exactly how it was typed up above. So this right here, what we started with, is what I'm going to write down. So the first thing I want to do is I want to plug your value. And when it says value, we're talking about what we think the answer is, which we think it's positive 3. So we're going to plug that into every single variable that we see. And we want to make sure that we're doing it inside parentheses. So what that means is anytime I see an x, I'm plugging in a positive 3. So I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm going to keep everything the same, except when I come to my variable x, I'm going to plug in positive 3 inside parentheses. Then I have this minus 3 minus 8 equals 4 plus 2, and then there's another variable. I'm going to plug in my positive 3 because that's what we think it is. So now what I want to do is I want to evaluate each side of my equal sign separately. So we don't have any variables, so if you have a calculator that allows you, you can type in this entire thing into your calculator. And so I'm going to do it both ways. So I'll show you on the calculator and then we'll do it by hand. So I want to type it exactly how it looks. So I have 2 and then parenthesis 4, another parenthesis with a 3, and I'm going to close my parenthesis, do minus 3, close my parenthesis again, and then minus 8. So I can type that all in. When I hit enter, I get 10. If that's not working on our calculator, you can simplify a couple steps at a time. So I want to start by doing my inside of parentheses because I can do my order of operations, which is PEMDAS. So I want to do 4 times 3 minus 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. So I can rewrite this. I still have my 2. What was inside my parentheses turns to 9. And I still have this minus 8. And if I wanted to simplify this side right now, I could. I'm going to wait to do it. And so I'm just going to write it how it looks. So what I just did is I did 4 times 3 minus 3, and that turns into 9. So now to simplify, I'm going to multiply 2 times 9, which is 18. 18 is this. I still have my minus 8. And then if I go on this side, I'm going to simplify my 2 times 3. So I have 4 plus, and that is 6. Then I can simplify here. 18 minus 8 is 10, which was what I got in my calculator, so that does work. And then 4 plus 6 is 10. I have nothing else left to simplify, so we're going to go back to our steps. If the left side equals the right side, so if this does equal this, if it's true, 10 does equal 10, then we solved it correctly. Yay! So that means I know for a fact that x does equal a positive 3. I found the right answer. It was right here. This is a true statement. We did it right. If you end up plugging in what you think the answer is and you end up getting something like, Let's say we got 10 equals -4. The left side does not equal the right side, so these are not the same number. Then we did not solve it correctly. So we need to resolve the original problem. So we would have to go back up to this one and try to resolve it and get a new answer because this is not the right answer. So we did not solve it correctly. So we need to resolve for our variable. So if this happens on a test and you check your work and you get this, don't leave the answer you got because what you just did is you proved that this is wrong. So go back and try to resolve it and see if you can get the right answer. You can check your work for any type of equation like this by plugging it in. So for homework, you guys are going to flip the page over. So we're going to flip to page 12. And then in the independent practice, there are like 3.5 problems. So you're going to do the top two and then this one. In this box, it says to check your work for this problem. You can check your work for the top two, but we're telling you that we want you to do it for this problem. So you need to do all 4 boxes for your homework.